Iqbal Mohamed.
Thank you, Mr. Fitzgerald. It's a pleasure to speak with you in the chair. And I'd like to thank my honourable friend, the member for Sunderland Central, for his powerful and eloquent speech introducing this important debate. The scale of this petition, with over 500,000 people calling for the repeal of the Online Safety Act, should make us reflect. Not because online safety itself is unpopular, but because many people believe this legislation is not yet striking the right balance. Let me be clear. The Online Safety Act exists for a reason, and I stand in strong support with its intent, its aims, and its objectives, and I would not agree with it being repealed. For too long, online platforms have failed to protect users, particularly children, from serious harm. The statistics are sobering. Nearly 1 in 5 children aged 10 to 15 has exchanged messages with someone they have never met. Over 9,000 reported child sexual abuse offences in 2022 and 2023 involved an online element. And in recent years, we have seen tragic cases where exposure to harmful online content has contributed to devastating outcomes. Repealing the Act would leave us with very little in the way of meaningful protection. It remains a central piece of legislation regulating online spaces in the UK. That is a hard pill to swallow, but a necessary truth we must accept. However, supporting the Act does not mean ignoring where it needs important improvements. One of the most significant concerns raised is age restriction. Age gating can and should play a role in protecting children from genuinely harmful content. But what is becoming increasingly clear is that the boundaries of age restrictions are not defined well. There is growing evidence that lawful political content, including news and commentary on conflicts such as Gaza, Ukraine, Sudan, is being placed behind age gates. Teenagers aged 16 and 17 are finding themselves blocked from accessing political information and current affairs, sometimes more strictly than the content regulated by the BBFC in film and television. That should give us pause, particularly at a time when this House is considering extending the vote to 16-year-olds. If we believe young people should be active participants in our democracy, we cannot also allow systems that restrict their access to political debate by default, just because these are difficult and sensitive topics. What is and is not age-restricted needs to be far clearer, more consistent, and more proportionate. The second area where clarity is urgently needed is generative AI. At the same time as we are having this debate, the Home Secretary was making a statement on the violence against women and girls. She has rightly described violence against women and girls as a national emergency, and the government's 5-year national strategy acknowledges the growing threat posed by intimate deepfakes, with one NSPC survey showing that 3 in 5 people fear becoming a victim, and with current laws proving too difficult to apply in complex and rapidly evolving cases, I would ask the Minister what specific legislative proposals this government is hoping to develop to address deepfake abuse. The second area which I've mentioned is generative AI. When this legislation was drafted and passed, the pace of AI development was very different. Today, AI tools and chatbots are embedded across social media, search engines and messaging platforms, with people relying on ChatGPT and Gemini and Copilot as search engines, and virtual assistants embedded into almost every online service we use. They can generate harmful and misleading content within seconds, including advice related to self-harm, eating disorders, substance misuse, and suicide assistance. Only last week, I led a debate here in Westminster Hall on the need for stronger AI regulation. That debate reinforced a growing concern that many AI-driven services currently sit at the edges of the Online Safety Act. While Ofcom has acknowledged this gap and issued guidance, guidance alone is not enough. We need clarity on how generative AI is regulated and whether further legislative action is required to keep pace with the technology. Mr. Pritchard, the message from this petition is not a rejection of online safety. It is a call for a system that protects children while also safeguarding freedom of expression, political engagement and public trust. The challenge before us is not to repeal but refinement, strengthening definitions, clarifying age restrictions and ensuring the Online Safety Act evolves alongside emerging technologies. If we get that right, we can protect users online without undermining the democratic values we try to defend. Thank you.